The NFL draft is upon us. 3 days away now. I cannot wait. I know many of you can't wait. So I thought it was a perfect time to drop my mock draft. And in this mock draft, this is what I would do. You know, if I was in position as the GM of each NFL team. I'm also not going to do trades. Trades, you don't know who's going to move up, who's going to move down. So not even going to speculate on that. No predictive mock draft. This is what I would do again. So let's get right into it. The first overall pick, what I would do, I'm taking Trey Lance here. I know. I'm just kidding. Of course, it's Trevor Lawrence. Everybody's been saying Trevor Lawrence. Not even going to speculate on it. Not even going to dive too deeply in this. Everybody knows what the number one pick is. Everybody knows what the number two pick is too, Zach Wilson. Not going to go too deep in either of these picks. These are the chalkiest picks of the draft. So pick 3 is where it gets interesting. The San Francisco 49ers, I have them taking Trey Lance. Now, I know the Mac Jones hype. Everybody's heard the Mac Jones hype. I don't buy any of it. I really don't. Mac Jones, you don't give up 2 first-round picks, 2 future firsts to move up for a guy who's comparable to Jimmy Garoppolo. You just don't do that. So I'm going to get a guy with elite upside, a guy who's not going to be asked to start right away. The 49ers have said they're keeping Jimmy Garoppolo for next season. So you keep Trey Lance on the bench. You let him learn the playbook. A very difficult playbook to master is the Kyle Shanahan offense. So let him sit, let him learn, develop. Maybe Garoppolo plays great this next season, and you can trade him for a first-round pick. And after that, you let Trey Lance take the reins. So Mac Jones, not the pick here for me. If Justin Fields went here, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I think Fields could run this offense very well. But I think Trey Lance is the best fit here, given that in college he had some of those, those Shanny type concepts, called his own protections. A very smart quarterback. All these guys are, of course. But I think Trey Lance, given what he did in college, is the best fit here. Given that he has elite upside, he's the best fit here. So pick 4, I have the Falcons taking Kyle Pitts. They could trade down, for sure. They could take a quarterback. Justin Fields is there. But Matt Ryan's still 35. Quarterbacks are playing into their 40s now. I think Matt Ryan has a lot left in the tank. So with Arthur Smith coming in here as the new head coach, Kyle Pitts can be, that George Kittle in this offense, that Jonnu Smith, but way better. Like, Arthur Smith's going to be running that Shanny type scheme, and Kyle Pitts is a perfect fit for that scheme. You can line him up everywhere. Of course, line him up at tight end. You can line him up out wide. Put him in the slot. You could even put him in the backfield. Like, this guy's explosive. Get him the ball in as many different ways as you can. Pairing him with Julio, pairing him with Calvin Ridley. Maybe you draft a running back in the second round too. Like, ideally, Travis Etienne is there in the second round. And this offense has no excuse to not be top 10 next year. So I think Kyle Pitts is the best player in this class. He's my favorite player in this class. Take him at 4 and don't even think about it. So pick 5, I have Penei Sewell going to the Bengals. I made a video about this. The Penei Sewell, Jamar Chase debate. I'm taking Sewell. Joe Burrow tore his ACL last year, in part because his protection was so terrible. I like the receivers they have there. They took T. Higgins at the top of the second last year. They have Tyler Boyd there, who's a very good slot option. So receivers not as pressing a need as the offensive line is. I know they took Jonah Williams in the first a couple years back, but Williams, he's not a proven commodity yet. They added Vikings tackle, I think. I forget his name. But he's on a 1-year deal, So I think it was Riley Reef they added. So he's not some long-term option there. Penei Sewell, plug-and-play guy. Elite run blocker as well to help out Joe Mixon. I think he's a slam dunk pick. So I'm taking Penei Sewell. Now, maybe the most shocking pick so far, I have the Dolphins taking Rashan Slater. My mantra with these young quarterbacks is to surround them with as much talent as possible, and let's see what they are. Tua has capable receivers. They have Mike Gesicki, who I think could be a superstar this upcoming season. They have Devontae Parker. They just brought in Will Fuller. Granted, it's a one-year deal. They have guys like Albert Wilson, Jakeem Grant, these slot type gadget players. So I like their receivers enough to bypass taking a receiver in the top 6. Maybe they come back in their later first round pick or in the second round to address receiver. Get Rashan Slater, who's maybe the best pass blocking tackle in this class. I know they took Austin Jackson last year. He's, I don't think he'd be a first round pick in this class. Rashan Slater's a beast. Plug and play guy. He can play guard. He can play tackle. You get the best 5 guys on the field, and let's see what Tua is. So, Tua didn't have the best rookie year. Let's surround him with talent. Let's see if he can, if he can swim or if he sinks. Now, pick 7, I have Detroit taking Patrick Surtain here. I know I see heavily their mocked receiver. Again, this receiver class is loaded, man. I think they can get a receiver, a good enough receiver, very good receiver in the second round. Patrick Surtain, they're not going to get a guy like Patrick Surtain in the second round. They're just not. Surtain is the best corner in this class, maybe the best defensive player in this class. He can do everything asked of him. He fits that mold that Dan Campbell, is pushing for in Detroit. That culture he's trying to build over there. Those kneecap biters, a very physical corner. I think this is a great fit. You pair him with Jeff Okudah and, try and build a strength here. With the secondary, it's not just one corner that makes a secondary. You need multiple top players to field a strong secondary. So, I like Patrick Surtain here to Detroit. Now, pick 8. This is where I have Ja'Marr Chase going. And I know it might be a bit of a fall compared to consensus. But he's not falling past here. Can you imagine Ja'Marr Chase paired with DJ Moore, paired with Robbie Anderson, and Christian McCaffrey in the backfield? I mean, Sam Darnold has no reason to fail with these receivers, the running back, and the coaching staff. I mean, we're going to find out real quick if Sam Darnold can play. He had a pretty crappy situation with the Jets. This, with Carolina, you put as much as you can. The mantra with the young quarterbacks. Give them as much talent as you can and let them, sink or swim. And they're committed to Darnold. So I don't think they would take Justin Fields here. They took Darnold's 5th-year option, which means, to me at least, they're committed to Sam Darnold. You take the best player available. Ja'Marr Chase is that guy in my eyes right here. And an amazing receiving core in Carolina. And this is where I have Justin Fields falling to. Number 9, Denver Broncos. Now, I can see Denver trading up for him. But in this scenario with no trades, he falls to them at number 9. This is one of my favorite landing spots for a player. I think Denver is a quarterback away. The additions they made on defense, as well as the existing personnel they already had, and then offensively, Justin Fields is walking into Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler. They have Melvin Gordon in the backfield, a pretty good offensive line. This would be one of the best quarterback landing spots. Fields, I think, would help elevate them, and those receivers would help elevate Justin Fields. Or maybe Drew Lock is the guy. Maybe this gets Drew Lock to focus in, to hone in on his craft, and maybe he balls out. I don't know. But either way, you got to figure out this quarterback thing. Justin Fields, the best quarterback prospect on the board here. You take him, you hand that card in quickly, and let's keep on going. So pick 10, I have the Cowboys taking J.C. Horn. Now, Patrick Surtain is often mocked to them. Of course, Surtain just went. pick 7. So the top tackles, I don't know if you take another guy here. I know they have Tyron Smith, but he's getting older. He's on his last legs. So I would target Rashan Slater if he's there. Of course, Rashan Slater not there either. So I'm going to take the best cornerback available. And in my eyes, that's J.C. Horn. Physical specimen. You pair him with Trayvon Diggs, who you took in the second round last year. Start to build this secondary. Start to build this defense, really. You brought in Dan Quinn, who I think him alone is going to help this defense. Actually having an identity, actually committing to a scheme is going to help this defense. And you add a top number 1 corner prospect in J.C. Horn to further push that secondary into becoming, helpful to the team. The offense is going to score points. The offense is loaded. Build this defense and get them up to speed, close enough to the offense. So pick 11, I have the Giants taking Tevin Jenkins here. Now, they could go receiver, but I like the receiver core enough to where I think I could get a receiver in the second round. And their offensive line is still not very good. I know they took Andrew Thomas last year to play left tackle. He had some highs, he had some lows. I think he can still be that true franchise cornerstone tackle that they thought they were getting at 4. But that right tackle spot is iffy. Nate Solder, he's older. He's on the decline. They took Matt Pert last year to play right tackle in the 3rd round. So, maybe, you didn't give him a fair shake, but maybe he could kick inside the guard after they lost Kevin Zeitler. Tevin Jenkins, I think he's a home run pick. I think he's a mauling, he's that hog molly that Dave Gettleman loves. You plug and play him at right tackle. He's a mauler. He's going to help in the run game with Saquon Barkley. He's going to help protect Daniel Jones even more. And finally figure out if Daniel Jones can be the guy. He had a somewhat promising rookie year. Had a bad sophomore season. Let's see if he can be the guy. Get him some protection with Tevin Jenkins, and let's see what he's got. So pick 12, that I have the Eagles taking Devonta Smith here. Silky smooth route runner. I've seen comparisons to Stephon Diggs for Devonta Smith. I think this is a great piece to help Jalen Hurts further his development. Sort of be that security blanket for Jalen Hurts, a guy who can get open fast, and really a true number 1 guy, which the Eagles are kind of lacking right now. I know they took Jalen Reagor last year, but he's, he can serve that take the top off the defense role. I don't think he's a true number 1. I think Devonta Smith can be a true number 1. So I'm going to take him, help Jalen Hurts. Let's see what he's got. Now, the Chargers, I have them taking Christian Darrisaw. Would have liked one of those top tier tackles, but Darrisaw is a left tackle, a plug and play left tackle. He's going to be good for this scheme as well. I've heard the Chargers are trying to run some of that shanty, that outside zone, that wide zone scheme, and Darrisaw is probably one of the best tackles to run that scheme. Also, he's going to help protect Justin Herbert. They added Corey Linsley, which I really liked a lot, and Matt Filer. So they're clearly committed to the offensive line. With the top corners gone, I don't see them taking a corner here. So the next best thing they need is tackle. Get Christian Darrisaw. Help protect Justin Herbert. Now pick 14. The Vikings are a weird one for me. I have them taking Sam Cosmi here. Offensive tackle. I could see edge rusher. I could see them trading down. They don't have a ton of picks, and they usually love to have an assortment of draft picks. So I could see either or, but I went with Cosmi here. I think he's the best value. I think you could get a pass rusher in the second round. The Vikings could. So you take the best lineman available, which is Sam Cosmi. Plug and play left tackle. And the Vikings were a weird one for me, but this is what I went with. Now the Patriots, I know Mac Jones is there, but Micah Parsons is an elite athlete, a guy with elite upside. And can you imagine pairing him with Donta Hightower, a guy he can learn from, and Bill Belichick, one of, if not the greatest defensive mind in the sports history. Like, if there's a place Micah Parsons is going to reach his potential, it's here in New England. And similar with Justin Fields in Denver, this is one of my favorite player team spots. This is one of my favorite fits. And I really hope it happens, man. I'd love to see a guy, not necessarily raw, but he's not there yet. And I'd love to see a guy with his traits be coached up by a guy like Bill Belichick. And I have Jalen Waddle to the Arizona Cardinals. Now, they could also trade up for him, you know. But in this scenario, he falls to them at 16. I think this is a knockout pick for Arizona. A perfect complement to DeAndre Hopkins. You know, Hopkins, that bigger body, that contested catch guy. Waddle, that separator, that take the top off of defense. To keep defenses honest and not, and you know, defense won't be able to just hone in on DeAndre Hopkins with Jalen Waddle in here. So Kyler Murray's doing backflips. You know, Murray's not really over the middle passer. Well, Jalen Waddle fits that mold. He's a downfield, you know, boundary receiver. So I think it's a perfect fit for Arizona. Perfect fit for Kyler Murray. And if this does happen, Cliff Kingsbury's on the hot seat now. You got to make the playoffs. I know they almost did last year. They lost out on the Bears by a technicality. But, you know, no more nonsense. You got to make the playoffs this year if you do get a player like Jalen Waddle in the first round. Now, I have Christian Barmore to the Raiders. You know, Raiders in another weird spot with the top tackles gone. I don't see much of a difference from tackles you can get here to the tackles you could find in the second round. Same thing with pass rushers, edge rushers. So I'm going to take Christian Barmore here, who's the best interior pass rusher in this class. They added Yannick Ngakoue in free agency. They have guys like Max Crosby, Cleveland Farrell. Neither are number one pass rushers. Maybe Yannick Ngakoue isn't either, given his failed stints in Minnesota and Baltimore recently. But Barmore helps everybody because that interior pressure is going to, you know, help take the edge off of guys like Farrell, guys like Max Crosby, guys like Yannick Ngakoue. I think you can't really upgrade the offensive line here, but you definitely can upgrade the defensive line here, and that's why I got them taking Christian Barmore. Now, pick 18, I have the Dolphins taking Najee Harris, maybe a surprising pick. I know, they still haven't taken a receiver. I know a lot of people want them to take a receiver here, but again, they're picking at the top of the second round. They could land a guy like Terrace Marshall, a guy like Elijah Moore, you know, one of these second-tier top receivers in this class. Why not get the best running back prospect in this class to help Tua Tagovailoa after you took Rashan Slater in the first round? You're building the offensive line. You have weapons out wide. Get a true number one bell cow running back. And let's see what Tua is, you know. I love this fit. You know, Najee sort of fits that mold, that culture that Brian Flores has built in Miami. I think it's a home run pick. Now, this is where Mac Jones should go. He shouldn't be talked about in the top 3, let alone the top 10, I would say. I think 19 is the sweet spot for Mac Jones, going to Washington, going to a team that has talent all around him, is not asking him to carry the load. This is where he should go. You know, I like Washington's offensive personnel. They got a good offensive line. They just brought in Curtis Samuel. They have Terry McLaurin, Antonio Gibson at running back, with J.D. McKissick too. I think Washington, similar to Denver, is a quarterback away. And especially in the NFC East, that's, you know, maybe it's Dallas and that's it you're competing with. Washington can make the playoffs with Mac Jones. So I like this fit. The defense is loaded as well. Washington can really make the playoffs. So also, he can learn from Ryan Fitzpatrick maybe. So maybe you don't start him right away. Let him learn the playbook. Let him learn from Fitzpatrick. I like their offensive coordinator as well. I think it's Scott Turner, Norv Turner's son. So all around, I love this fit for Mac Jones, and I hope this is where he goes. Now the Bears, I have them taking Alijah Vera-Tucker. The Bears are in a weird spot. They're another one of these teams that missed out on the quarterbacks. I know they added Andy Dalton, but he's not a long-term option. But you missed on the quarterbacks, so bolster the offensive line. That's what I think is the best move to do here. Alijah Vera-Tucker, and now you have Cody Whitehair at center, James Daniels manning one guard spot, Alijah Vera-Tucker manning the other guard spot. Help opening up rushing lanes for David Montgomery, who's probably going to be the main focus of this offense. So make his job a little bit easier and build this offensive line for him. Now the Colts taking Jalen Phillips, maybe surprising a bit. I know they need left tackle, but similarly to what I said with the Raiders, I don't see a ton of difference from the tackles you could take here compared to the guys you could find in the second round. So why not use this top pick on an elite upside edge rusher that the Colts have really been lacking for a long time now. I know Jalen Phillips has those medical issues, which is why he's here at 21. If he was a healthy prospect, he could realistically go in the top 10. But those medicals bring him down a bit. I think the false stops here. I think Chris Ballard, the GM there, would be willing to take the risk because the upside is too high. Learning from a guy like defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus, having DeForest Buckner alongside him, I think Phillips could excel rapidly here in Indianapolis. And same thing with the Titans. I have them taking Caleb Farley. Again, because of the medicals, he's here. Caleb Farley is my favorite corner in this class. If the medicals were fine, he's probably a top 10 pick. The Titans lost Adoree Jackson. They lost Malcolm Butler. They lost Logan Ryan a couple years back. So I know they took Christian Fulton last year, but frankly, Caleb Farley is a better prospect than he was coming out. I think Farley can be a number one corner for them. I could see them take receiver as well. I know they lost Jordan Smith, the tight end. They lost Corey Davis. But I think corner makes more sense, especially with Mike Vrabel leading the charge. And this receiver class being deep, you could get a guy in the second to third round to start for you. So Caleb Farley is a pick here for me. And the Jets take Creed Humphrey, a young center to help build with their young quarterback. Like I mentioned, they're going to be running that Shanny type scheme, and Creed Humphrey is a natural fit for that. A very, very good center in space. So with the tackles being a little iffy for me, I'm going to take the best offensive lineman period available here, and that's Creed Humphrey. Similarly with the Steelers, I have them taking Landon Dickerson. Now, this is a tougher pick than Creed Humphrey because Dickerson's got injury concerns. I don't think he ever finished a season in college healthy. So there is cause for concern there with Pittsburgh. But again, with the tackle situation, I think Dickerson's the best offensive lineman, period. So you take him here. They lost Marquise Pouncey to retirement. They lost a lot of offensive linemen, actually. Villanueva is a free agent. There's talks that he might go to Baltimore. They lost Matt Filer to the Chargers. So they could go a lot of different directions here. They lost a lot of players, They could go edge rusher here after losing Bud Dupree. They could do a lot of things, but I have them taking center. The best offensive lineman, in my eyes, left, Landon Dickerson. Now the Jaguars landing Rashad Bateman. This would be an awesome pick. Another one of these fits that I hope happens. Player and team fits that I hope happens. After taking Trevor Lawrence, you have guys like DJ Chark. They have Laviska Shenault, that slot gadget guy. Get another outside, potential number one capable receiver. With James Robinson in the backfield now, Trevor Lawrence has an insane amount of talent, if this does happen, to get him going immediately, Their offensive line is fine. Not great, not terrible. So I think Trevor Lawrence could have success immediately. if Rashad Bateman is the pick here. Now the Browns taking Jason Oweh. I would have loved Jalen Phillips here for Cleveland. Oweh, this could be a steal of a pick, potentially. I know he's raw, very raw, but an elite athlete, learning from guys like Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney, who they brought in. I know some people say Jadeveon Clowney, now that the Browns brought him in, they don't need edge rusher. Well, Clowney's been on somewhat of a decline the last couple of years, and also, he's only here for 1 year. He signed a 1-year deal. There's no guarantee he's going to be here next season or the year after that. So get a guy like Oweh. Let him learn from Clowney while he's in the building, as well as Myles Garrett. And I think this could be a phenomenal landing spot for him. Not asked to play a ton of downs immediately. Gets to learn, gets to study from 2 former number 1 overall picks. I mean, I can't think of a better landing spot for Jason Oweh. And the Baltimore Ravens taking Kwity Paye. They lost Matt Judon to the New England Patriots in free agency. They're more fans of those bigger-bodied edge guys. I think Kwity Paye fits that mold. I think he can be a plug-and-play guy for them. And another example of Baltimore playing the field, letting the draft come to them. Landing a guy like Kwity Paye at pick 27 could be one of the bigger steals of the draft. So, classic Ravens pick. Now, the Saints taking Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah here. Demario Davis is getting older. I think he's 32 now, or 33. Their middle linebacker. You're going to have to plan for his, you're going to have to plan his replacement eventually. Especially with the Saints being in cap hell. Get a guy like Owusu-Koramoah who can, in the meantime, pair with Demario Davis. Similarly to how Tampa Bay is running with Levante David and Devin White. You get a guy, 2 rangy, fast linebackers in the middle. I think this would be great for their defense. And help build back the Saints after they lost a lot of talent in the offseason so far. I like this pick a lot. Now, the Packers taking Greg Newsome here. I've been very vocal that the Packers need corner and receiver help. If you get those 2 things, I think they could finally push over the hump, push over the NFC Championship game, and make a Super Bowl, freaking win a Super Bowl before Aaron Rodgers retires. Greg Newsome, in my eyes, is the best corner left on the board. Green Bay has a very good secondary, but they're kind of missing that true number 2 guy. They have Darnell Savage, Adrian Amos, of course, Jair Alexander. Greg Newsome can be that guy opposite Alexander. I know they re-signed Kevin King, but it's a 1-year deal. Not much money tied into that. I still think they should take corner in the first round. Double back in the second round, take a receiver. Maybe a guy like Dimey Brown, maybe a guy like Elijah Moore if he's there. And finally commit to Aaron Rodgers and get over the hump. I don't think they're far off from beating Tampa Bay. If you get him a corner, get him a receiver, don't take a fullback, don't take a backup running back in the second round. Let's get real talent in here, real starters in here, and Green Bay can make a real push for the Super Bowl. Now, Asante Samuel Jr. is the pick here for the Buffalo Bills. I've seen him comped to Tre'Davious White, who of course is the number 1 corner for the Buffalo Bills. Perfect scheme fit. I think Samuel's going to do everything that they need him to do in that Doug McDermott defense. I think they kind of got shellacked by Kansas City in the AFC Championship last year. They need guys who can cover. They need guys who can keep up with the receivers that they're going to be facing, in Kansas City. And I think Cleveland is going to take that next step up. I think those are the 3 top teams of the AFC right now in my eyes. So get a guy like Asante Samuel to be able to cover those, receiver-heavy offenses that you're going to be dealing with at the top of the AFC. Now, the Ravens, they got this pick from Kansas City in the Orlando Brown trade. Liam Eichenberg's the pick here. I'm not in love with it, but he's a really good run blocker which of course fits Baltimore's mold. Orlando Brown kind of shafted the Ravens here. They already were kind of struggling at offensive line. They still need a center. But with the centers, the top 2 centers gone, I think you take a tackle here. You're going to be picking at the end of the second round, so I don't know if the tackles are going to look like how they look like at the end of the first round. So get a guy like Liam Meikenberg, plug and play, day 1 starter, and you move on. And pick 32, I have the Bucs, the reigning Super Bowl champs, taking Gregory Rousseau. Similarly to what we talked about with Jason Owe, I think this is a perfect fit for him. Not being asked to do a ton off the bat, getting to learn from guys like Shaq Barrett, guys like Jason Pierre-Paul, JPP getting older, so plan for his replacement, getting to be taught by a coach as good as Todd Bowles, the defensive coordinator. I think it's a perfect fit for Gregory Rousseau. You look around at Tampa's needs, they really don't have any. I was thinking tackle, but they did re-sign Donovan Smith. I think it's a bit early for guard. I think they could get one in the second round, be fine. So why not take a chance on an elite upside edge rusher to pair with Shaq Barrett down the line as Jason Pierre-Paul gets older. And this creates an even better defensive line rotation for the Bucs. My goodness, Tampa Bay's roster is loaded. But that's my mock draft. That's my first round. That's how I see the first round going. But of course, I do see trades happening. I don't know which trades will happen. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys would do. Let me know what you guys, what you want your team to take, who you want your team to take. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. Appreciate the love, appreciate the support, and we out, guys.